God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege. This is the Protege program. Thank you so much for joining me on this fine day. This is the first test of my ability to record a video the evening before I upload it. So here we go. Yesterday, Benjamin Netanyahu gave a presentation that he said held proof that the Iran nuclear deal was based on lies, that Iran had a nuclear program before the negotiations began, that it was attempting with very much diligence to hide this nuclear program before the 2015 deal. And it's got people all across the geopolitical sphere reacting. President Trump said that this presentation was 100% proof that he was right about the 2015 deal being bad. I'm sure that many of you remember conservative commentators saying that the Iran nuclear deal was not going to stop Iran from pursuing nuclear weapons, and that we were being far too generous with the Iran deal. Because what happens when you want a deal over when you want a specific objective, or when getting the deal is the objective, you will give up a lot of things simply for the sake of getting the deal. And that's what happened with the Iran deal. The objective was not to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. The objective was not even to allow Iran to pursue nuclear energy while limiting its capacity to get nuclear weapons. The objective was to get a deal, to get a piece of paper signed so that Obama could have another feather to put in his cap. And that's what they got with the Iran deal. A feather to put in Obama's cap, and that's all that it was. There was no language that said that Iran had to destroy any work that it had done on nuclear weapons at the time. In fact, the negotiations were going on the assumption that Iran did not have and had never pursued a nuclear armament. And if this evidence is to be believed, that is the opposite of the truth. But I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that today. I want to spend the most of our time on this from Reuters Ipsos. Democrats lose ground with millennials, according to this poll. Now, I think there are some visuals here that we can use. They're not going to load in because I'm offline. So we're going to have to look at hard numbers. But the short version is Democrats are losing ground among millennial voters. Republicans aren't automatically gaining ground. You have to narrow down some of the categories of respondents to get to a situation where Republicans are gaining ground. Specifically, Republicans are gaining ground among white male voters. Now, this makes sense because the Democrats have been working so hard to alienate who is at the bottom of the progressive stack when it comes to identity politics. I'll give you a hint. White males. That's not a hint, that's just the answer. But that's the category where Republicans have gained a lot of ground, is in millennial white voters. Or white male voters. White male millennials, good grief. What have white male millennials done for the past 10 years in terms of the progressive stack? A lot of them have acquiesced. A lot of them have accepted the rhetoric, accepted that the Democrats are right, that the progressives are right, that they are at fault, that they're evil people, and something needs to be done about them. And what have they gotten in return for all this acquiescence, for all of this capitulation to the progressive ideology? The answer is they've gotten basically nothing. White men are still demonized, especially in the progressive stack. White men have not gotten anything out of their cooperation so far with progressivism, and it's not surprising that they've gotten nothing. Their promise for cooperating with progressivism was nothing. Their promise was that their stature in the world was going to be reduced and depleted. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that white people need to have a special and unique status above the other races of people, or that men need to have a special and unique status above women. I'm simply saying that the rhetoric of the left is that white men need to be torn down. In spite of that rhetoric, white millennial men, in large part, went along with it for a decade. And it's starting to turn them towards the Republicans. It's starting to turn them towards a more conservative ideology. Tim Pool had a video that he put out today talking about this phenomenon. And he cites the millennial, what's the word I'm looking for? The millennial affinity with Bernie Sanders. Millennials wanted what Bernie Sanders was offering. And when they found out that Bernie Sanders got played by the Democrat Party, that Bernie Sanders was used as a tool to make Hillary Clinton look stronger in the general election, they got upset. Tim thinks that the reason that millennials in general are leaving the Democrat Party is because of that, because they're seeking a more radical socialist message. And we talked about this a little bit in a video last week where I talked about strategy that the Democrats were putting forward, that Democrats were putting more of their true face forward, that they were embracing socialism, embracing communism as part of a bold strategy to embrace the politics of the up-and-coming generation, the generation that has been bathed in socialism since the day they set foot on a public school institution. They believe it on its merits. They are not the old guard leadership of the Democrat Party that thought socialism was a good way to control the masses. The next generation of Democrats believes in socialism. And that's why they wanted Bernie Sanders. That's why they were so disillusioned when they found out that Hillary Clinton and the DNC had cheated Bernie Sanders out of the nomination. Maybe he would have won it if they hadn't have cheated. Maybe he wouldn't have. But the fact remains, there was a conspiracy in the DNC to keep Bernie Sanders from getting the election and to coronate Hillary Clinton as the nominee. And so, when the dyed-in-the-wool socialists see that their candidate is rejected by the Democrat Party, who has been their party for as long as they've been alive, who wouldn't get disillusioned at that idea, at that realization? Now, I think this does explain why millennials in general are turning away from Democrats but not to Republicans. It's because they want the Democrats to be more socialistic, and it's why Democrats are starting to turn towards socialism. But as you narrow your field of inquiry from millennials in general to the fields of millennials who have participated in progressivism for the past 10 years, that are on the bottom of the stack, you see clearly that alienating a big portion, the vast majority of your electorate, is not good for politics. That's going to do it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that you'll come back and join me next time, tomorrow, for our next video. Until then, have a fantastic day today, and God bless.